Can you hear me?
Yes, just
Yeah, there we go. A lot
fine.
better.
Normal now.
Yeah, man. Sometimes these Bluetooth stuff just don't be wanting to act right.
I can never get mine to sync up. Not technologically savvy, so this is about as good as it's going to get for me.
No, you know what? I can hear you perfectly. You can hear me perfectly. So hopefully everyone can hear us perfectly.
Happy
But
day.
I'm really excited to have you on. Um, for one, it's because as a male trainer, I train 98% women, right?
Yep, yep.
So over the years, I've learned a lot, right? Um, through my clients. Um, and every time I feel like I've got it, like, yes, I understand it, it's gone. It's
That's
out the
nice.
window.
Schmidt says
Because,
no excuse.
oh my God. But but yeah, like because the woman's body is so complex. But before we really dive into that, I want you to just tell everybody a bit about who you are and how did you get into the fitness business and things like that.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm Erica. I currently own Morning Warrior Boot Camp, where I do online personal training as well as boot camp group fitness classes. I have been a personal trainer for 13 years. I actually was hired by Schmid at Valley Total Fitness like 6 weeks after my first pregnancy. I knew I wanted to continue in some type of athletic type of career because I was an athlete previously. I was an athlete at UIC. I ran track and field at UIC for 2 years. And I am intrinsically motivated by movement. It's something that kind of keeps me balanced. So when I stopped running, when I stopped competing, people would ask me like, oh, like, how did you get your arms like that? Or like, can we work out together? So like I was always working out with my friends then, and I wanted to continue in that capacity. Funny story, I actually wanted to compete. I started looking that up. I wanted to do fitness competitions where they would do like the splits and all that kind of stuff. And like, after a few years, I was kind of intimidated by stepping on a stage, but I had a great support system at Valley. I learned a lot from Schmid. I had a newborn at the time, so I learned a lot about scheduling, about being organized, about the schedule, well, meeting goals. We had
Yeah.
quotas back then, so it was a huge learning experience, a big learning curve, but something obviously that I love and I've stuck with it.
Yeah, it just taught you that getting in the fitness business isn't just about working out.
No,
It's it's
oh no.
you
It's a
know
lot. You wear a lot of hats as a personal trainer.
a lot of hats
There's
that we don't a lot of hats that we don't get credit for.
fine. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, we're motivators. We are sometimes like pseudo psychologists. Um,
Therapists.
we're good friends. We are people who have to do sales. I mean, there's a lot that comes with that. It's a big
And
job.
we become family to
Definitely.
some. Yeah.
Definitely. The amount
So
of
let's dive
people that are like now, friends and like you said, family from when I
family.
first started, it's amazing. I've known people for years, have clients for years.
So let's dive right into the meat and potatoes. So before we talk about how you got your body back or the journey of getting your body back from childbirth, um, let's talk about the beginning when you got pregnant. Um, tell the viewers how things started to change, hormones, and then also the psychology of dealing with your body actually physically changing, how that can affect someone's mental health.
Um, it's a very loaded question. I was pretty young with my first pregnancy. I was 24 years old, and to be honest, I was not prepared at all. At the time, I didn't have information about, how to stay fit, during my pregnancy. Um, but like I had some information about like nutrition and everything like that. So I gained probably 35 pounds, and I
Now, what's
wasn't
normal? What's a normal body weight gain
a
for?
healthy weight gain for pregnancies between 25 and 35 pounds.
Okay.
But I will say also what's normal is whatever a person experiences, you know what I mean? So like I know there's a lot of controversy about those kind of things, but that's my personal opinion. Um, so like I personally didn't have, like any type of mental health, you know, issues surrounding my pregnancy. I enjoyed it. I looked forward to becoming a mom. I knew that I was going to have a natural birth, which didn't happen. That I was going to breastfeed and all those things, so I was really, excited for that. But I ended up having a C-section. And when you talk about like the changes to the hormones and all that stuff, that
Yeah.
happened after the pregnancy.
Okay.
After the pregnancy, I was really sad. Like I remember coming home and like right away, like breaking down. My mom, she old school. She was like, cut that out. We not doing that. Okay,
Okay.
swallow it right now. You got a job to do. And that's kind of where my mind went. Like I just kind of started hustling. I was cleared by 6 weeks to start working out. I started running immediately. Like that was my idea at the time. Run it off, lose the weight, restrict your meals, and I lost a lot of weight like right away. That was not healthy. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But by my
Okay.
second pregnancy, I learned a lot. So I was able to again stay within the parameters of fitness and like learn how to program and work my way back into a good healthy routine.
Now, was the second pregnancy, was that a natural childbirth, or was C-section as well? C-section.
Unfortunately, I didn't have a good private doctor. So like during my second pregnancy, I ended up seeing a resident who just kind of, I guess, treated me like a number.
Yeah.
And, since you had a C-section, you're going to have another C-section, even though there was research, about having a post-vax, so it just didn't go well for me. And my mind was set like, okay, you're going to have another C-section, which is, it's tough. I have a big cut here, the bottom of my
Yeah.
stomach. And the third pregnancy as well with twins. There was no doubt about it. It was
Now, see,
automatic. Like you don't have a choice. You're having a C-section. So 3 C-sections.
now that's what I want to kind of dive into as well, because my wife, we went through the same thing where we have 2 kids and she had 2 C-sections, and like, it could be a bit challenging mentally, um, going through that, knowing that not having a natural and then having a surgery, per se,
Yep.
um, and then just trying to fight back your physical your physical health.
Oh my gosh.
So can you kind of dive into that?
Definitely. Like just, the next day after they cut into your abdomen and pull the baby out or two, they want you to get up and walk around. Your wife probably remembers this. That was just, I mean, it was excruciating pain, like, and sometimes I wish I could have just gone through the natural thing and, but it's fine. It didn't happen for me. But coming home, trying to get up and down the stairs or even pick my baby up when my abdomen is not even healed. And for me, my pregnancies resulted in diastasis, which is the abdominal separation, and so like
Oh,
that
yeah.
fascia, that tissue between doesn't come back, so that leads to a whole host of other problems.
Right.
And trying to heal from that's longer than 6 weeks. That's months, years now in my case.
Yeah. Now, people have heard my advice from a male's perspective, but I want you to give from a woman's perspective, um, advice to men, husbands that have to support a woman going through this. What advice would you have for a man, so that he can properly be there and support his wife or his significant other after childbirth?
Just to know that your wife or your significant other is just not the same at that moment. There's a lot that's happened. Your body has gone through something that was extremely stressful. So, this is where we can relate. Have you ever been extremely stressed? If so, is it fair for me to impose the same responsibilities on you, or do I need to, step back a little bit and just kind of, be gentle with you? What would you prefer? you know, so I guess I'm asking you to put yourself in that person's shoes. No, you can never experience, childbirth, but you can imagine going through excruciating amount of pain. You can imagine being stressed after, you've been working on a project and it just didn't go right, or whatever, whatever leads to that stress. To be gentle, to be kind, like you're going to take a lot of crap because like you said, we're going through, a change emotionally and hormonally as well.
Yeah, I'm just right now.
Let it go.
I'm just shutting up right now and I'm listening.
That's it. That's it. Like if you feel like we're flying off the rails, just take it. You know what I mean?
Just take
And be gentle. And we know it's not fair, you know what I mean? But like, you can't help it. There's a lot. And there's even like grief. I know a lot of women experience it. Everybody's different, but like,
Did you say grief? You said
grief.
grief?
Yeah, because for 9 months you've had this being inside of your stomach, and there's a lot that happens with that, and you get kind of connected to that, and then it's done. So that's a huge transition. For the body, for a woman emotionally as well.
Okay.
You know,
Now, given that you had C-sections and then you had what's the term again for the abdominal?
diastasis recti. Yeah.
Can you? I mean, I've heard that term. Can you give some pointers to someone that may have had that or C-sections? Some things they can practice to help restore or even just strengthen the core.
I would say to see a professional, to see a therapist. I know that there are trainers who have experience with that, but even with my own self, there's only so much, that you kind of know. So to spend 8 weeks going to see a professional, a physical therapist, or MAT specialist, something like that, because they have a little bit more training with something that's so specific, and trying to go from childbirth without the supportive core muscles, because it's really difficult. It's a lot that you cannot do. And I cannot perform a sit-up. It's extremely detrimental to my back. It's not good for these core muscles. They don't function that way anymore. So trying to
These are great points that you're saying, because someone probably don't even know something small like that you can't even do a sit-up.
You should not do a sit-up. No, you should not do sit-ups or crunches, that kind of thing. So trying to jump into a program that has integrative exercise to it, doing, compound movements and all that stuff without knowing how to properly engage or brace your core could lead to injury. I have also experienced that. I have chronic back pain, and I'm working with a specialist now to alleviate that, which is going well, but it's a slow process. It is.
Okay, so now we want to get into, that was more of a physical, right, aspect. Let's get into the hormonal aspect, right? Postpartum. And I really want you to, I'm just gonna let you kind of talk about that. What are some practices or things that you did to try to balance that out, right? Because that's what we're, in our aspect, we're trying to chase balance. So how do you try to balance that out? What did you do? What are some practices? Anything, whatever that because you were in tune with your body. So what are some things that you were able to notice and do to try to get your hormones back balanced?
A lot of things that I had in my back pocket, probably a little woo-woo, but some breathing exercises, really helped. started out with like some Lamaze, but then some other kind of breathing practices that's likened it to like yoga type of breathing. I had I had some roots in, like spirituality for sure, so
Yeah.
that was something to lean on, and just being informed, like knowing what hormonal changes to expect and when, and how that could affect my mood, is important, but for the most part, I think it's just important for women to give themselves some grace, but to like also don't hate me, take
No.
personal responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, when you're not okay, know that that's okay to not be okay, and take your space if you need to be away from the family. If it's not okay for you to take the baby right now, to rely on your spouse or a significant other, because that's a thing and that's okay. And I gave myself permission to do that. I talked to my husband about that. So if I couldn't do something, I couldn't change a diaper, if I couldn't have a baby on my breast, 1 second more, it's your turn,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to feel guilty about that. I'm not superwoman. I don't have to do it all. So
Yeah.
um, it's difficult with the hormones though, Corey, because we go through that every month, our hormones.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
like, it's
Yes.
hard to say just this one thing, but above all, even for fitness, it's to know yourself, to know your habits. I use the Fitbit app to track, so I kind of knew like when my period was coming up, what that week before my period was going to be like. Don't ask me shit, okay? What my week during my period, don't touch me, leave me alone, I'm by myself. And then afterwards, okay, we're cool now, you can give me a hug.
Yeah. Well,
you
see,
know,
with my wife, what does Schmidt say? Having a willing supportive husband is so important. Yeah, Schmidt.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Woo.
bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, like so one thing that my wife experienced, and she's in here, she can correct me if I'm wrong. She experienced like hair loss. And that right there,
Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah, like so like I had to really like sit back and like process mentally what she is going through. It's
Yeah.
not it's so many things. And for me, like Schmidt just said, being supportive, like just trying my best to like not, I'm gonna just call it a spade, to not piss her off. Like
Yeah.
just kind of like
That's a good way. That's a good approach to take.
yeah, yeah, which is and hey, ladies, what y'all go through is nowhere near what we go through. But it's hard not to piss y'all off when y'all in a state.
But there's signs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about y'all, and I'm a Cancer, so I have to take responsibility for this, but like, there's that week where I'm like crying because, the little cartoon character's dad died or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my 3-year-old has, like, that's probably the moment that you're like, okay, like, pay attention.
Right.
She's
Right.
going through.
So I'm getting good practice because, like I said, I'm a male trainer. I have 98% women clients. Every day, a client is on that cycle.
Okay.
That so
So
so so I'm getting good practice. Yeah.
Nobody synced up yet. There's like got to be like the sync up moment, but
No. Yeah, that's why I said every day. So that they all say I'm the synergy. They everybody, and there's probably a couple up in here. They know they come in. I'm like, yeah, it's that time, ain't it? Yep.
Okay, so here's my advice then for the male trainers. Stop calling us beasts, you know what I mean? Like, we're women, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going beast mode, and I might not be feeling, you know what I'm saying? And like, if I'm coming in there and I'm having an emotional day, like, let me be emotional, you know what I mean? My trainer, I'll reveal at the end, saw me crying, and like took the time to stop what we were doing and, make me feel like that experience is normal, because he'd had another client who gone through something similar and what that could mean, and it was just really nice to like take a moment and not have to be strong and not have to push through, you know, but to have somebody actually listening to me and care about what I'm experiencing, you know.
Well, I got a close relationship with all my clients, so they just come in and say, Corey, I ain't on that shit today, not today. And when they say I ain't for your shit today,
You know
I
that's the
know.
moment. Okay. We'll
You're
do
not doing no
bicep
goddamn
curls.
burpees. There's no goddamn burpees. There's
No.
no
I'm gonna do a seated, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
yeah,
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 I'm a step back and you know, everything good, you good?
yeah. Like, hey, you came in today, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's make sure you stay hydrated and we got this. You know what I'm saying? Just being that person in the corner, being a coach.
So let's get in you you know, you're a business owner. Are you I mean I just want to ask this, are you a stay-at-home mom?
I wouldn't say that, you know.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, that's very
What
difficult. I mean, like, I'm home a lot,
yeah,
you know.
well, the reason why I asked that question is because I wanted to kind of go the route of the sacrifices that you have to make in order to for one maintain your household um and running your business, and then you know you're a full-time mom, so I just want to know some of the
Full time
challenges and
mom. Yes.
sacrifices you had to make.
Yeah. Okay. So we actually moved out into the suburbs. We're in Hoffman Estates now about 3 years ago. And that's when I found out I was pregnant with the twins. I had a studio in Rogers Park right there on Morris and Ashland. And it was going pretty well. You know, I also did boot camp class with Mike Salazar at Evolution, and I
Yeah.
was doing that like 3 times a week, 5 a.m. You know, like my life was like hustle, like on it every single day, all day, 5 to 10 p.m. You know, and I was doing this with 2 young children already, paying for school, rent keeps going up. You know, and you know we're like, screw this, like let's pivot, you know.
Mhm.
That's too much to balance now with 4 kids, you know. Let's kind of settle down a little bit. We bought a home out here and transitioned to public schools. In the beginning I was still traveling to the city, you know, but I had to make a decision. At that time, I knew I wanted to start going back to school. My goal is to become a doctor of physical therapy. So
Oh,
it was either you're going to hold on to this hustle and bustle or you're going to go ahead and follow this other course. And I had to make the decision to close my business.
mhm.
Eventually, I had to make the decision to leave Evolution after 10 years. That was extremely difficult.
I was just about to say that had to
That
be
was
difficult.
extremely difficult. You know, I had been pushing, working my ass off for like the past 7 years, you know, to this,
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
nothing. And there was, you know, parts of me that was like, you know, I still want to hold on. So I ended up transitioning during COVID to the online personal training and group fitness classes. So
Okay,
still a little
so
piece of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. So like, I know that had to be difficult to say, all right, we're gonna close the brick and mortar. You know, your heart, your sweat,
When
your
I
sweat.
turned that key, like I just broke down. My husband was like, "Whoa," you know, because I was okay up until that moment, you know, just holding
Yeah,
it. But yeah, yeah, it was
they
difficult.
say,
Hard decisions comes in twos. Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, I believe in that. I
that's
believe in
very
that.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I want to probably kind of pivot back into the hormonal aspect because a lot of people were when they saw that I was going to be speaking with you, they were like, man, they would like some more advice on that aspect, um, things that I couldn't pretty much give them. So um, when it comes to basically feeling like you're imbalanced, right? Um, is there anything like nutritional that people can kind of like dive into
I
when it
think
comes?
that it is important during and even after to know how many calories that you should be taking in. You know, first and foremost, do not restrict your food because food restrictions come with its own hormonal issue itself, you know. So we know that if you're breastfeeding, you're secreting hormones constantly for your body to be able to even produce milk.
Mm-hmm.
Again, after you've had your baby, you know, for maybe the first 3 months at least, you know, things are starting to try to get back to normal because you've been producing extra and secreting extra because you're growing a human. Now your body's trying to, and when your hormones secrete, they go throughout your entire body. They cycle throughout your entire body. So, you know, that's where some of the issues come in with like mood disorder. Okay, even if it's again to produce milk, you might have some mood disorders. So, you know, I had mentioned like having the breathing exercises and being self-aware is key for a woman. But in terms of diet, making
Yeah.
sure that you're eating, we talk about macros, you know, getting enough protein. Eat your carbs. Carbs produce energy. You need lots of energy to raise a baby. Um, to produce milk and all that, and definitely your fats. Do not limit fats. You need a healthy profile of all fats, saturated, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats. So your animal or vegetable fats, your legumes, your nuts and seeds, those kind of things are crucial to your baby's even brain development, you know, and your own balance. So making sure that you have a whole foods diet. Don't limit yourself. Do not reduce your calories because that just kind of makes things worse. We know, Corey, you know, you train fitness competitors. What happens when those calories start dropping toward showtime? Women usually lose their period. Okay, so
Yes.
just understanding that alone is something that you want to think about pre and post pregnancy.
It's very common. And then also, not even speaking about competitors, I train many women, postpartum who have trouble producing milk. So I'm glad you spoke upon that because those are key points that, the doctor, they'll give you a rundown, but then, a lot of women have to seek outside sources,
Yeah.
you know, to get help because they don't produce as much. Now we were blessed, like my wife, the doctor, they tried to ask her to sell her milk to
Wow.
for real. We were like, nah, we're good.
Oh my gosh. That was amazing. A lot of women do that, and especially for babies who are born premature, it could be, you know, something that's useful. But
Both my sons were preemies.
okay,
Yeah. So
look at
that
them
so
today,
so
happy and healthy.
oh, she said, my bad, I'm wrong. She said donate, not sell. They asked her to donate.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
I do.
yeah.
Yes,
But
you are
so
lucky.
I want you to like plug yourself. You mentioned that you do online trainings and boot camps and things like that. So if there's somebody in here that's interested in doing some online training with you or some boot camps with you, how can they, get in contact with you and all that good stuff?
Sure. My website is www.morningwarriorbootcamp, Morning Warrior, Conquer Your Mornings Bootcamp.com. I do one-on-one personal training. I also offer fitness plans. So if you want to train on your own, you just need some guidance, that is available. And I have classes on Tuesday and Thursday nights for about 30 minutes from 6:30 to 7 p.m. So you can join virtually there on Zoom.
That is that's actually amazing. Cause y'all know after 11 a.m. Corey don't do shit. I
Well, you
ain't
get up
training.
at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's understandable. Your day starts way earlier than mine.
Yeah, my alarm is set for 2:45. Um, and I'm
Jesus
actually
Christ.
done.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that's what time I'm going to sleep because these kids crazy.
man, man. But this has been great. I really enjoy having you on.
Thanks
Because the
for inviting me,
perspective
Corey.
the perspective that you're giving is I feel like it's very much needed. I think you helped out a few people in here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.